Hello and welcome to Bakies The Sims 4 custom content. In this series I show you everything I made for The Sims 4. It's been a long time since my last video, because of me moving to another village and because I took more time finishing a mod and video instead of rushing this in one single week. The result is a mod which is far more extensive than I planned it to be. Also because of the time that I took to discuss my mod with my supporters on Patreon. The mod I'm talking about is this revamped Denizen Pond. The original Denizen Pond, which you see right here, came with the Get Famous expansion pack. But when I looked at these 3 original recolors, I thought that it could be made more useful for a larger part of the community by creating 3 extra themes divided into an additional 10 recolors. So before taking a look at all these recolors and other things I've added and changed, let me first show you where to find this revamped Denizen Pond in game. To easily find it, type Revamped into the search bar. You can also find it by going to the Activity and Skills section and clicking the Outdoor Activities icon. The revamped Denizen Pond can be found right in front of the original and be recognized by my BakieGaming icon in the lower right corner. When clicking the color stripes, you can choose between 10 different recolors. When placing the first one next to the original, you will notice that I didn't only recolored the flowers, ferns, sand and lily pads, but also the color of the water to make it look more green. My goal with the first 4 recolors was to make them to look kind of mossy, so it looks like they have been there for a very long time. Where the first recolor still had its original rock color, the others have moss on their rocks in different gradations. The next 2 recolors are made as if their ponds are filled with blood. For the first one, I tried to make it look like fresh blood, both in the pond itself as on the plants surrounding it. The second one has less brighter colors to make it look like the blood is much older. As I wanted to make these suitable for darker places like the backyard of a vampire, I thought making the rocks surrounding the pond black would fit in much better. Also, keeping the flowers in a darker red color is way better than any other bright colors in this case. When talking about the transparency of both waters, the second one is a bit more transparent than the first one. This can be seen a bit better when adding piranhas to both ponds. For the last 4 recolors, I thought let's try to make the pond to look a bit more fresh. So I used the 3rd original Denizen Pond and made the color of the plants surrounding the pond much brighter. I've also changed the color of the flowers, sand, lily pads and added a blue watercolor. For these 4 ponds I used 2 different watercolors. The second pond has exact the same watercolor as the first, but is a bit more transparent. Same counts for the 4th pond compared to the 3rd. But adding different recolors isn't the only thing I've changed. I've also added a lot of new deco slots. 50 in total. From those 50, 30 are small deco slots. From those 30, 1 can be found on the back of the small waterfall and 1 behind the flowers too. Then I've also added 10 medium deco slots and another 10 large deco slots. As some of them are placed on exact the same spot, sometimes only one of them can be used. If you want to use as much slots as possible, you need to activate the Move Objects On cheat. This way you can place objects very close to each other. The last thing I've changed on these revamped Denizen Ponds is the color of the light that can be seen shining on the rocks from out of the water at night. These are the original ponds with their night colors. But as I think it's better to have a matching light color compared to the watercolor, I've changed this for my revamped ponds too. All mossy recolors will have a green light shining upon the rocks at night. As the amount of moss for each recolor isn't the same, the color of the light at night looks a bit different on each of them too. For the fresh bloody water I used a brighter red light than for the old bloody water, which is more red purplish. For the 2 different pond water recolors of the fresh revamped Denizen Ponds, I also used 2 different colored lights. As you can see, the light for the last 2 is much darker than those of the first 2. As almost in every video, I like to end this video with some example scenes too. In this first one, I used one of the mossy recolors in some sort of jungle scene. As I added a lot of deco slots, decorating the pond with other animals and plants is now much easier. Of course, you can also still add fish to the pond, like can be done with the original ponds too. In this case I added the koi fish. In this example I used the old bloody revamped Denizen Pond with a lot of candles placed onto the small deco slots. This could be something as a graveyard with a holy bloody pond deep in the forest. Adding piranhas or sharks fits nice with the bloody pond too. The fresh revamped Denizen Pond can be used in a normal forest with koi fish added to the pond. For a more magical feeling though, switch to a night scene and add some sprites. The blue color of the light at night matches very well with the color of the sprites, as you can see. For all other mods used in this video, like the frogs, which recently have been updated, toucans, gravestones, squirrel, glowing crystal rocks and everything else, take a look at the video description. I hope you all like this mod and video, and if you do, please give this video a thumbs up and share it so more people will be able to find it. A download link can be found down below in the description. Don't want to miss any of my future videos? Then please subscribe and hope to see you next time here on BakieGaming.